They say when you stare into the abyss, sometimes the abyss stares back. I say, sometimes it invites you in for a drink and leaves you wondering how you're gonna pay the tab. Name's Mercer. Felix Mercer. Private investigator. I've chased cheating husbands and missing dames through the smoke-filled alleys of Chicago. Thought I'd seen it all, until a letter from Tokyo slid under my door, smelling like trouble and cheap foreign cologne. The letter came from an old friend at Interpol, one Inspector Mori. Said he had a case that didn't fit neatly into any file cabinet. A man had shown up at Haneda Airport back in '54. Never mind I was sitting in '39. He had a passport from a country that didn't exist, called it Taured. Now, I'm no genius when it comes to maps, but I've been around. Taured was about as real as a $3 bill. Still, something about it gnawed at me. So I packed a case file, my fedora, and a loaded Webley revolver, and hopped on the first boat to Japan. Time travel? Who knows? But when you've seen what I've seen, you learn not to ask too many questions. Maury sat me down in a back room at the airport, chain-smoking and sweating through his suit. He slid a dossier across the table. There he was, middle-aged guy, tan suit, silver cufflinks, and the cold, confident eyes of a man who knew something you didn't. Passport? Official-looking. Stamps from places I knew and places I didn't, issued by the country of Taured. He says he's been here before, Maury muttered. Several times. I leaned in. And? He knew things, Mercer, about places, people, and he vanished. Poof. Gone from a locked room under guard. No broken windows, no secret tunnels. Just a bed that still held the impression of a body, and a passport that didn't belong anywhere on Earth. I hit the streets, interviewed clerks, customs agents, even a bellhop who swore he'd taken the man's bags to room 509 at the Hotel Marunouchi. A nice place. Too bad the guest didn't check out the normal way. I got more than I bargained for. One old woman told me stories about travelers from other worlds slipping through our own like threads in a fraying tapestry. Another said she saw the man again, weeks later, walking into the Imperial Palace and vanishing through a wall. And there was the map, a crumpled piece of paper he'd left behind. Europe was all wrong, borders twisted, countries I'd never heard of. Taured sat right between France and Spain, where Andorra should have been. Maybe he was a spy, some said, Cold War cloak and dagger, maybe a con artist with an angle we just hadn't figured yet. But Maury said something that stuck with me. What if it's not him that doesn't belong, he said. What if it's us? I didn't like that theory. Too many drinks and too many nights alone, and you start thinking about that kind of thing. Parallel worlds, slipping between cracks, and maybe I'd followed this case into one myself. I found myself staring at the passport late one night. The ink didn't smudge. The seals were perfect. And then I noticed it. The date. Issued in 1960. I was still sitting in 1939. Maury disappeared a week later. Just gone. Left his badge, his gun, and a note on my desk. It's not a place, Mercer. It's a door, and you're next. I burned the note, packed up my files, and lit out of Tokyo that night. But I swear, sometimes when the rain hits just right, I see a man in a tan suit watching me from across the street, holding a passport in one hand and a key in the other. I've worked a lot of cases, found a lot of missing people, but some things don't want to be found. The man from Taured. Maybe he was a traveler between worlds. Maybe he was just lost. But if you ever find a stamp in your passport from a place that shouldn't exist, don't look for me. I'm already gone. If you found this story as mind-bending as I did, hit that like button and subscribe for more unsolved mysteries with me, Felix Mercer. Got a theory about the man from Taured? Drop it in the comments. I read them all. Well, most of them. Who knows? Maybe your idea will be part of my next case. Stay curious, stay sharp.